Welcome everyone to the Yissilmissil Productions channel. My name is Steven Yissil, and today, let's talk about it! I hope you're all doing well. Just gonna wait for a few others to make their way in here. How y'all doing? So we have a few things to cover today. We will get to all of them. And I'm going to be very articulate today with what I speak about and what I share. So, first and foremost, we have a little clip I watched some pro wrestling review live streams, and an interesting subject came up. So we are going to watch that clip. And we're gonna kill this music here. All right. So I'll say this much for what we're about to watch. It's 8 minutes long. And it's not about wrestling, but in a way it is. But really, it is about Hollywood and the music industry. Okay.
Monet called herself a revolution. She then said she's the Beyonce of women's wrestling. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, man. I'm not.
That's a shoot.
I don't know why would anybody would adamantly admit that, man. That makes me dislike her more, honestly, and not in a good way.
Bro, I don't know. I'm quite positive you have not heard all of the.
So what I'm going to do here is just let this play through. And I want you to soak this all in. All right? And then we'll move on to a few other things on this channel that have come to my attention. But for now, enjoy this clip from JD from NY206. This was from about 2 weeks ago. But listen to what these two men have to say.
The inside stuff going on with Beyonce and her husband, but it is not something to be proud of to be referred to as the Beyonce of something.
Well, if Jesse's saying that, then there's some validity behind it because I don't have a fucking clue what's going on over there.
Trust. Trust, man. She is, put it like this. You know Diddy's on trial, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, she's caught up in that whole big ass fucking Hollywood controversial circle, man.
Good. I'm not surprised. They're all Satanists. Yeah. They all do things inappropriately with children. I know.
All of them. She is being accused of some shady business shit. You don't want to be called the Beyonce of anything. I don't know why she would refer to herself as that.
Nope. Yeah, there's some serious shit going on over there, man. Hollyweird is what I call it. They're all fucking scumbags. They're all sick people. The things that they do and the stories you hear about the children gone missing, man. It's all these people, all the Hollywood elite. So I don't like that reference at all. Yeah. I think Beyonce and Jay-Z and all those people, P. Diddy, just disgusting human beings. So that does not make me like Mercedes one bit.
Yeah.
So
and look, before you know, people come to my DMs and how could you be saying that stuff about? I know what Jay-Z has done for the rap industry. I'm aware. I know just as much as you guys do, but I'm not fucking stupid and I don't blindly follow anybody. I've said that once. I'll say I don't blindly follow anybody, bruh.
If you just look at some of the things that these people do and the hand gestures that they make, man, and the things that they wear and the symbolism that they go out there and portray in public, it's all Satanism. It all is. I don't want to get started on the conspiracy theories, but these people are evil. These are evil people. They don't give a fuck about you. How do you think they got to where they got? You cannot do that as a normal human being. You have to give something and get something in return. That's the way that I look at it. These people may be influential. They may be, for the music industry, some of the top performers of all time. How do you get there? What are you doing to ascend to the heights of someone like that and the status of someone like that?
It's amazing that you say.
It happens in pro wrestling too. What do you think Vince is innocent? Vince is just as guilty as anybody for the fucking billions that he's accumulated.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a YouTube video of exactly what we're talking about. You can watch it at your leisure one day, or not. But they talk about that, and some of the celebrities who didn't make it as big as these guys, talk about what they had to pass on and what happened to their careers when they said no. They get blackballed, they get shunned. Some of them have lost their lives. Yeah. I mean, bro, I hope everyone here understands. I've never once have been referred to as a conspiracy theorist. So I'm telling you right now, the stuff that I've heard is fucking frightening, man. And it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Beyonce won Best Country Music Album of the Year.
Sure.
Give me fuck is...
Sure.
Give me what?
And a country bone in her body, bro.
Man.
You kidding me?
Man.
Wrestling is a satanic industry. I don't have to mention to you. Look at Vince. Look at the way that he's done things. Look at Brock, the beast incarnate, Satanism. The revolutionary, the Seth Rollins, the whole fucking the Messiah, satanic. The left eye symbolism, satanic. Aleister Black is a take on Aleister Crowley, satanic. The almighty Bobby Lashley, that is shunning Jesus Christ, satanic. The Game, the King of Kings, Triple H, is satanic. When you realize that Satanism lives in every aspect of what you do, whether it's music or the spotlight, the celebrities, pro wrestling, sports, people making weird hand gestures, people throwing up fucking all this other shit. It's all Satanism. The entire Super Bowl halftime show is all Satanism. That's it. It's nothing but more than a fucking satanic cult fucking get-together. Oh, that's all it is. So the more you people realize this, it took me a while to realize this. And I have my brothers to thank for that. And I don't want to go off on a fucking beaten path here, but, you know, you got the discussion started with Beyonce. Beyonce and Jay-Z are the two fucking biggest Satanists in the entire industry. I mean, the people that I listen to, the musicians I listen to are fucking Satanists. We have to live with it because that's how they got to where they got. And we are forced to fucking abide by their spells and their music and their fucking entertainment. Because that's what it is. That's all it is. That's all Hollywood.
All right, look, I'm not sitting here co-signing on everything that you just said about Satanism, but I will say this: they are not good people.
No,
they're not even decent people. They are, and this applies. And I'm like you. I'm not trying to go off on a complete tangent. This applies to everything in Hollywood. You pretty much have to sell your soul to get to certain heights. And that could mean a few different things. You have to do something that would normally be entirely against anything that you believe in to make it to the heights that some of these stars make it to. You just don't get to just do it because of talent. There are plenty of talented people across the fucking world. What's going to separate you? You got to do fucking something different. I mean, all these stars, women, Harvey Weinstein. How many of these women in Hollywood right now, these mega stars in Hollywood, how many of them had to sleep with Harvey Weinstein to get there?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And that's not a conspiracy theory. The guy's in jail for the shit right now.
Yep.
I mean, everybody has fucking done. Eminem is on record. Eminem is a fucking recluse. Eminem does not leave his fucking house. He comes out of his house, goes to stage, performs, and goes back home. People ask why. He said because he don't want to take part in this bullshit that is Hollywood and what it takes to make it. He stays to his goddamn self. He don't go to these parties. He don't go to the fucking anything because he is not involved in any of that bullshit. So you'll find a select 1, 2, 3 here or there. But for the most part, when you see these pictures and at the clubs and Diddy out there popping champagne bottles at the white parties, everybody at those fucking white parties, bro. Everybody you see at those Diddy white parties.
What did they have to do to get in there, bro?
Yes, exactly. All those.
And what are they doing while they're in there? And what is being done to them while they're in there? Nobody will ever know. That's why they call it secret societies.
Yeah, that it. You put it like this. Let's say we're wrong about, you know, some of these people. We are more right about most of the people, and we're, you know, wrong about a small percentage of them.
Yeah.
Most of these people are exactly the way that we're fucking telling you guys right now.
Yeah, they're all pieces of shit. They're all evil. So I didn't like that. I found that to be just very,
I would
very
not call
off-putting.
myself the Beyonce of anything.
No, that's an awful look for her. She said to Hader, she's looking straight through Hader like the glass doll that she is. Monet always gets what she wants. Shoot. And what she wants is going to All In to become the AW Women's Champion. So she's basically told you what she wants. She told Tony what she wants, and she's going to get it because Tony's not going to tell her no.
All right. So you heard what those two gentlemen just said. And that was near the end of a nearly 3-hour show that they did. The Hollywood industry and music industry are built upon Satanists. Now, Anunnaki is one of their gods. It's a fake god, but nonetheless, that is who they worship. They make people with morals go through programs to remove their morals And I believe that some of them are trying to purchase my created content to pull it off the internet for good. And I'm saying right here and right now that my soul is not for sale. And that goes for my entire video catalog too. No price will make me pull my video content down. And I really want those to understand that. Now you may be wondering why am I saying this? Steve, why are you saying this? Well, it's already been happening. If you've noticed at the beginning of this live stream, we had a brand new account. A brand new account made today pop up in the live stream. What's this show about, they asked. What's this show all about? Well, clearly, they are playing dumb. I've encountered these people on other channels that I've appeared on. They are seeking intel. This Let's Talk series puts to rest any questions about my loyalty to certain parties. My loyalty is to Heavenly Father, Creator, and Jesus Christ. I do not follow any human being. Now, as for the people that I have brought onto this channel to interview, we do not know where their loyalties lie. Because clearly, I am nothing more than cannon fodder to them. And perhaps it's always been that way since day one. But interestingly enough, here we have individuals that are asking to purchase those interviews, to scrub them from the internet. Why would someone want such a thing? Or is it some group that wants me to go away? This channel's already shadow banned. I believe it was from me giving a larger voice to those parents that were speaking out at board meetings. I had my channel demonetized. I could not go live for a certain period of time. Jason, clever wordsmith here today. I have people pretending in this chat that they do not know what they are watching. I have people in my emails sending me legislation. Some of these people, I think, are clinically insane. And I still won't forgive some of these past people in power that shut down all of these mental institutions, because then we wouldn't be dealing with this stuff today. But we have people that are trying to buy me out. Grandiose claims of getting paid and signing contracts and wanting, oh, here's another good one, an ultimatum of 24 hours to give a yes or no answer. You know what I said? No. You know what their response was? I'll let the chat try to guess what their response was to me saying no. Yeah, I know. They're probably here watching right now. They want to see what my reaction is. The slimy scum of the earth. Beating around the bush. Why don't you people just come out directly and say what you want? All of this pretending, wanting me to call them by different names. I do not play around here. I'm out in the open. I am not anonymous. Oh yes, Texas. When I said no to these people, they started to go on about how, you know, maybe it wouldn't be as important to go after Tom Althouse, but to go after me for giving him a platform. Newsflash, Tom is no longer here on this platform. The videos are still up. They will not be removed. It's for perpetuity. It is the prologue to Let's Talk, which now is in its 9th episode. I'm going to say this once again. My soul is not for sale. And neither is my entire video catalog. Tom Althouse is a liar. And you can fuck right off. These people are incredible. They will try to say anything to get a reaction out of you to use against you. And I want my viewers to know that this is ongoing. So I'm going to tell them this other piece of information. If you take this YouTube channel down, you're not getting rid of the videos. I'm on multiple platforms. You will not be able to scrub me from existence on the internet. In fact, everything that I have previously published is on the video blockchain of Odyssey. Now, what's the video blockchain, you may ask? It's a permanent ledger of video. It is never coming down. So while this YouTube channel may just be like tears in the rain, the video blockchain will be up for as long as the internet exists. You are all foolish for trying to slyly come after me. Now, I have dispelled things on this channel. Very disturbing things that individuals should be prosecuted and sent to jail for. Including people trying to take others' lives. Am I playing around here? No. I'm calling out these people for what they are. Narcissists. Cold-blooded narcissists. They love attention. They hate responsibility. They have zero self-reflection. And they have all of the ego in the world. Now, I'm gonna check the comments because I have not checked them yet. I see them going though. Jason H., I think you win the comment of the day here. Tom, not my fault house. Woo. We got a comment from Bin YouTubing. It says, saw you on Abe's show. Yes. I've been over on Abe's channel for the past few weeks. And thank you, Beyond the Box. I'm glad you're here. And thank you for sharing. And yeah, Joel, these people just need to piss off. So, to go into a little more detail here, they told me that they were preparing legislation, or litigation, shall we say, litigation, to prosecute Tom Althouse. And that they were the ones being talked about, but Tom was going in a roundabout way about it. By never mentioning them by name. But here's the thing. They said they were too busy doing their artistic projects to prosecute Tom at this current time. And when I said no to them purchasing my footage, I got a response of fear from them. They pretty much said, okay, then we'll just go after you. So, I humored them a little bit. I said, why focus on me and my small channel here on the corner of the internet when you can go after Roseanne? And you know what they said? Oh, don't worry about Roseanne. Like I'm supposed to worry about them. I said, if you're too busy to prosecute Tom Althouse, then what would make me believe that you aren't busy to prosecute me? They didn't really think that one out when they prepared this. I don't know what you would call it. They were trying to blackmail me. They were trying to get me to tell them intel. I've seen this before with people. They go and try to seed keywords in to trigger you so that you will divulge information. Everything that I've shared on this channel is still public. And if you watch from part 1 of Tom Althouse's interviews all the way through today's show of Let's Talk, which are all on the same playlist, you will see that I do not have contact with Tom Althouse any longer. That was his choice. And do you see me supporting the words that he is saying anymore? All I've been doing on Let's Talk is questioning this chump's story because of the holes that have emerged. When I called out the handlers, he cut off contact with me. He wants to believe, or he says that he thinks that I'm trying to take away all of his friends. No, bud. I just had the eyes to see the people who were pulling your strings. And it's unfortunate that you wanted to go back into your fake reality where everybody loves you. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody should love everybody. But haven't you noticed, everyone here watching, haven't you noticed how much hate Tom holds in his heart? I believe he was estranged from his sons, which is why he also wasn't able to see their dead bodies. He has no pictures of them up anywhere in his house. This is the linchpin part of his story that he always goes back to when he is questioned about the details that he is divulging. Roseanne is a honeypot, and Tom fell right into a third one. He's going back on her show for a second time. He's gonna learn the hard way, and sorry, man, I tried to warn him. What's that saying? Right down Primrose Path. Now, what also is a little shocking to me is he's doing another UFO conference. The guy that's never claimed to have a UFO experience is going to be speaking at a UFO conference. That's like inviting someone to teach a knitting class at a pro wrestling convention. They don't fit in. But Elon Musk, Neuralink. We've already dismissed that with Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell, along with a lot of these other anime projects from the 80s, already used this concept. And we went back even further than that into the 70s to show that Philip K. Dick was even talking about how he believes we live in a matrix. And Tom claims to have never heard of this interview from Philip K. Dick, but it's been around for nearly 50 years. Jason, Abe's channel is Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. If I can pull a link up, I will here. But you know, Roseanne was recently on the Tim Pool podcast. And a user sent in a paid question asking, who do you think is really controlling the United States government? They named off the top 10, right? But they didn't name number one. It starts with an I. They absolutely refused to bring up the tiny hats. And it's because Roseanne is one. But that's neither here nor there. Although I guess it kind of plays into this because it's part of the controlled opposition deal. You have to wonder why Tom Althouse is so starstruck with Roseanne. And the people that helped him get on that show, he no longer speaks to either. Yeah. I'll say, yeah, I agree with Joel. Don't go around wearing any fatigues or anything. And don't walk into a Walmart with a hoodie and sweatpants. You're only asking for trouble. Instead, walk around with a dress shirt and some slacks. You don't have to wear dress shoes, but it'll send a message to the ones who are still asleep to not mess with you. Otherwise, they'll pull you into their matrix. They'll try to. They'll do their best. But one thing I've noticed is the way that you dress really dictates how much people choose to mess around with you or not. And that goes for things in public. So, I don't know if you need catching up, Brenda. I had some emails that were sent back and forth to me. I have people in this chat that showed up early on, pretending to know nothing. They were born today and they created an account today. I don't play these games. I don't play them. I'm sorry. Maybe 5 or 10 years ago I would. But you mistake me for someone that's desperate. Yeah, so I also had another email. Someone emailed me anonymously about the penny videos and how I should make memes of them and everything. Yeah, where am I gonna post these memes? I don't know. It's a bit counterproductive for me to be thinking about making memes of Penny when I've already broadcast to the world here who she really is and what she's about with first-hand accounts of things that she's written in journals that she's claimed as her own after those journals were shown. And what did those journals say in them? Oh, she praised Satan. She's a witch. And not the Halloween type. No, I've already exposed her here. What am I going to do? Replay the video here for new people to watch? And I know that they're tuning out also. So like I know she's watching some of this, and she tunes out whenever I start talking stuff. And she just she wants to just not hear it, but she'll come back later because of curiosity, or she'll have some other people show up. And the same thing goes for Tom. They don't want to speak to me, but they'll sit in the back and watch. And then they'll go and report to their little minions to go and mess around with me. So I'll say this again. I'm not going anywhere. All of my videos that are up, that I've produced, that I've created, they're not going anywhere. People did ask to purchase those interviews from me. And then they threatened to sue me if I didn't take the videos down. And this is after they said that they're too busy to go sue Tom Althouse directly. Yes, Beyond the Box. It's very disturbing to me that she would try to kill you with something that's undetectable. What did she do? What? No, I'm not even going to say it. I don't want to give her ideas. Also, these people can't think for themselves, so they'll take any feedback they can get from those that can think for themselves. And I'm not going to entertain any ideas for future projects for her. But for what she's already done, she's going to have to answer to God for that. And I'm not talking about her government of defense that she worships. I'm talking about the Heavenly Father Creator. Thank you, Woo. So this show today, I had people asking, what is this about? Let's talk about what? Well, if you're new here, you're going to be in for a wild ride. I suggest going back to episode 1 of Let's Talk. And if you really have the time, go back to part 1 interview with Tom Althouse. It's all on the same playlist, by the way. And these come after those interviews. But we dig in and dissect what's going on. I share updates here on the Sunday show. I'm very open and public about this. Let's Talk is to air out the room, to address the elephant, the things that we're not allowed to talk about. All right, Joel, you go wrangle those horses. Yeah, Texas. I know Tom Althouse is not happy that I haven't just scrubbed our entire 2.5 years of content off the internet. It's not going anywhere. And I said it before and I'll say it again. If you think taking this YouTube channel down will do that, you are sorely mistaken. I have other content outlets, including the video blockchain, where it will stay up indefinitely. And the world will see just how two-faced all of you narcissists really are. And you can go cower in the corner and you can go cry about how evil I am. There's not an evil ounce in my body right now. Every day we need to tie, bind, and rebuke evil in every form and in every way necessary. In the name of Jesus Christ. I banish you from here. But I know you'll scurry your way back in, time and time again, asking for a whooping. And I'll give you that whooping, that verbal kung fu, all right here. You better watch out. I pity these people because they think fear will work on me. Do you know how much time I have put into creating content just like this on this channel? I will let you know that nicotine is the only substance that I consume. Besides nourishing food and water and all of that. I do not drink alcohol, and I do not partake in any drugs or any paraphernalia of that matter. So you could rest assured that I'm delivering you all of this information with a clear mind. I'm going to say this a third time for today. And as for all of those in the back that are still watching but won't show their faces or names, that are trying to blackmail me, my soul is not for sale. Never has been, never is, and never will be. Think you could buy my video content and ask me to remove it? Sorry, that's not happening. So this didn't take as long as I thought it would to share, but I'm glad that you all are here to hear me out and listen to what I have to say. I appreciate all of you watching, even those that are out here to take me down, because it just shows that I'm over the target. And these narcissists' egos will be their downfall. When the enemy, and see, I don't even make these people my enemy. They just choose to be enemies. They make themselves enemies. But when the enemy is making a mistake, you don't try to correct them. You let them continue blindly doing whatever they're doing. Almost like an NPC operating without a conscience. The same repetitive threats over and over. I'm getting bored, as a matter of fact. But I thought all of you should know here on this channel what's being thrown my way to take me down. And I refuse to kneel before anyone but the Heavenly Father Creator. Now, these people, they can have their Anunnaki, they can have Baal, whatever the heck. They can have it all. Go ahead. Go do your thing, whatever you're doing. Keep me out of it. Did you all know that Tom Malthouse used to be a Freemason? Yeah. That one kind of slipped through the cracks. Yeah, when he was with Pat Robertson in the 80s. But, you know, that's not really important today. What's important is that all of you know what's going on now. And I don't anticipate any of my content to be removed. I'm following all of YouTube's terms and guidelines here. In fact, I'm being very amicable with how I'm presenting this information. But I approach all of this with a matter of certainty and a basis in fact. And one of those facts is that Tom Malthouse dropped this interviewer, the one that pops up for whenever you type in Tom Malthouse interviews on Google. The whole first page is me. Why would you abandon that, Tom? You see, Tom knew what I was doing with these algorithms. He may have forgotten about it, but the information was shared with him. I had a goal to hit 1,000 short reels with Tom. I only made it to about 326. And I only stopped when he cut me off back in October. Literally almost up until the day that he cut me off, I was still producing shorts for him. Now there's 12 shorts of Tom Malthouse is a liar. So again, how am I supporting what Tom is saying if I am calling him a liar? He lied about me. So what else is he lying about? Probably, mostly, everything else. And I've said on this channel before, there's truth in everything. But sometimes that comes with 99% bullshit. That's good to know, Jason. Yeah, and you know what? Those could be the last of them. Those could be just the start of many more to come. I guess all you lurkers, as well as all my avid supporters, will just have to wait and see. But I create content based on what piques my interest. And when red flags go off on things that I used to stand beside and support, then I have to reconsider all of that. But again, nothing is removed. Everything stays in perpetuity. Sure, I'm able to admit that I can misspeak at times. I can get information wrong. It's part of what makes me a human. But narcissists cannot admit fault. So, that's about all I have to say on the matter. It's, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting a little repetitive at this point. But I guess I'll leave it here with that. For those that are concerned about me making penny memes, like, why would I do that? I don't have time to do that. Oh, you want me to say more? Oh, I love when my viewers encourage me to stay. So, alright. I'm gonna talk a little more about this subject since Beyond the Box wants me to continue. Thank you, Beyond the Box. I like it myself. Ah, yeah, Jason makes a good point. Why do penny memes when we can do penny shorts? Now, this is all supposed to be in like a form of an expose here. This is not being petty. This is not just starting crap with people. This is setting the record straight. And many times in my past, I've had people come around and twist the stories on the actions and words that I have said. This even has happened when I've ran for office in the past. Alright. Well, let me make a note of this. There we go. Oh, and I want to talk about a video that Susie showed me too, so just remind me if I don't get to that Beyond the Box. You know what, I'll just talk about it now, because it kind of relates to it. So, one of my friends, Susie, the one that showed the Journals of Penny on Brenda's show, Beyond the Box, Susie sent me an hour-plus interview of Carrie Cassidy, where she was interviewing Dr. Richard Allen Miller. He is a guest that I've seen on other channels in the past. Probably 10 years ago, I was watching them. But Carrie Cassidy and Dr. Richard Allen Miller, they know each other. They've known each other for quite a while. But in the video that Susie sent me with them talking to each other, I noticed something really interesting. Carrie was very uncomfortable with how jubilant Dr. Richard Allen Miller was. And she thought he wasn't taking her seriously. So, Carrie Cassidy is someone not to follow. But I think Richard Allen Miller is someone to look into. He has some pretty cool ideas. But stay as far away as possible from Carrie Cassidy. Now, the reason I say that, I've said it before on this Let's Talk series. Another content creator, Cliff High, used to work with Carrie Cassidy. He no longer does. Cliff High studied data sets using word predictive algorithms to try to anticipate future events. And he's convinced that AI cannot bear a soul. But Carrie Cassidy is pushing that idea that souls can manifest inside of AI. And fortunately, I agree with Cliff High that they can't manifest inside AI. AI can be possessed by demons. That is a fact. But as far as souls like you and I, it cannot be created inside of an artificial construct such as what we're seeing emerge today. It's in its infancy. If we go back to the Terminator franchise, James Cameron used a human being, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to play a machine. No matter how much anyone wants to wish that there's some dystopian future ahead, these machines will never bear souls like you and I. There will only be demons inside. And that's why it's dangerous. So what was funny about the interview that Susie sent me with Dr. Richard Allen Miller and Carrie Cassidy is that Carrie was trying to change Dr. Miller's point of view. And Dr. Miller's very guarded with how he divulges information. And I don't blame him. You have to be guarded when there's snakes all around you. But what he did share, and also something that I'm not new to, is that there's 11 dimensions that we're dealing with in this construct that you call life. And he did mention the Bermuda Triangle, that he believes there's a pool of black holes in that general area. It's the first time I've been hearing about that, and Any of you that's been following my channel this year know that I have my interpretations as to what the Bermuda Triangle entails. And as of right now, I can comfortably say that there's one of 12 major ley line points, points of cross sections. There's, out of the 12 that there are that have the most intersections, the Bermuda Triangle is one of them. And I'm still trying to figure out if these ley lines were made by people of the past or if they were naturally occurring. Now, Carrie Cassidy, in this interview with Dr. Richard Allen Miller, she tried to convince Dr. Miller that there's more than 11 dimensions. And every time Dr. Miller dismissed her with a joke, she did not look happy. And I think she was hearing things that she wanted to hear. And whenever she asked Dr. Miller to repeat himself, he wouldn't. And I thought that was kind of funny. He is very wise to these people's manipulation. You see, I really think Carrie Cassidy had Dr. Richard Allen Miller on her show to discredit him, because he's definitely onto something of truth in what he's researching. Portals, yes, beyond the box. That's one aspect. But I said before, some time ago, this reality is malleable. That's why I think it's important that you only think about what you truly want to happen. And you don't spend time thinking about the bad things that could happen, because that will only help manifest the things you do not want. That includes saying certain words. You speak it into the universe, and then the universe hears it. There's some people that don't want to believe that plants are sentient. Yet there are scientific studies, however you want to take that. But it's been studied that plants know when their owners have left the house and when they're coming back. Not unlike a dog. So, that being said, I do not wish death upon anything. In fact, I think this entire construct is built around trying to make you die. Even if that means getting you to think about your age and how much time you may have left here. The way we keep time today is different from the past. The calendars are all different. Words change in books. Can't explain that. How is the matrix in the Bible? The word matrix refers to a series of numbers. like what's all around me on this screen. Organized religion is to keep you enslaved. All you need is the Heavenly Father Creator and Jesus Christ. From then on, doesn't matter what religion you want to sign up for. I recommend you stay away from them all. And I speak from experience. I was born into Catholicism. All of the hymns have changed. All of the passages read are now jumbled and make no sense. The lion will lay down with the wolf is the current reading from the Bible. Although when I was growing up, it was the lion will lay with the lamb. So what's happening? I believe this reality is slowly collapsing in on itself, but it's not the end of the world. There's bugs, just like in any computer program or any video game. This construct was built by Heavenly Father Creator, and we are made in His image. And that includes the power to create. We are creating our own realities. So to get back to Tom Malthouse, he's a perpetual victim. So he's creating that reality. He will never get past the second act of him getting justice. Time and time again, more people like myself will come forward and say, I want to help you. And he'll turn them away. Even after having them under his wing for years, he will flip like a switch. And then as for Penny, the witch, all of those things she wrote down in her journal that she left behind, considered trash. Very foolish to not properly get rid of what would incriminate you. But the reality is she left them all behind. At a place she didn't even own. I don't know what I would compare that to. It's just really foolish. I can tell all of you are captivated by what I'm saying here, because you're not really chatting much. That's okay. It's okay. But yeah, the video of Carrie Cassidy and Dr. Richard Allen Miller, it's a good one. It has some good segments in it. I know why Susie sent that to me now. But as a rule of thumb, I don't watch Carrie Cassidy. And she's looking really run down these days. The, what is that saying? She's wearing her past deeds on her face now. She looks really tired. The grift is starting to get to her. But grifters gonna grift. Grifters are always going to grift. So Tom will be at a UFO conference in September. He posted about it on Twitter. And that's the only way I know about it. He just posted the other day, I think. I looked up his Twitter yesterday just to see what he was up to. If possibly the Roseanne interview went up. But I'll know when it goes up because my channel will get a huge spike in views. But that's not the purpose of why I had him on my channel. I believed he was a whistleblower. And now it seems that he's just a bullshit blower. Or maybe a blower of something else. Who knows? Get your minds out of the gutter. Yes. There's just certain things, because I read people's body language and all of that, and I can just see with Carrie Cassidy, there's something really heavy weighing on her mind that she's just not saying, but she's trying to get her guests to say. And she just seems exhausted. Maybe she should retire. But grifters gonna grift. Grifters are gonna grift. All right, Jason, you get the award for 2 best comments of the stream. Tom, not my fault house, and Baal sucker. Yep, you know what they're all about. They worship these half-creature, half-person demigods. They try to pass it off to us like Heavenly Father Creator. Nuh-uh. That's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with fallen angels. The remnants of the giants that have nobody to go back to. Literally. So they try to mess around with us. It's just sad. But we shouldn't pity them. They made their decisions, and now they are paying for it. And I tie, bind, and rebuke all evil and demonic entities in the name of Jesus Christ. They are not welcome here. And those that are influencing the ones that are contacting me, I also tie, bind, and rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. You are not going to instill fear in me, and you will not make me remove my videos. Nor will you get rid of my videos. They'll always be up on the internet. And hopefully, if I get around to it, I'll put all of these on VHS tapes, too. Because why not? I got tapes that are almost 40 years old and still pristine picture. It's too bad that film and celluloid is so expensive, because I would do that as well. Although those need to be temperature controlled. You know, how do you really keep footage alive more than 100 years? It might be possible nowadays, but if you guys have watched my Chicago film industry series, they lost like 95% of everything that was made at the infancy of the film industry, which started in Chicago. So, even if, let's say, one of my videos survives through all of this, I hope it's one of these episodes. But you know, it's just unfortunate that we have to deal with these childish individuals. A lot of them are I'm trying to find the words. They're limited in their capacity to think. And they let their emotions get the best of them. And they'll sneak around. They'll try to pretend to be people they're not. They do it in the open as well as in private. And unless they make that decision for themselves to grow and change, then they'll always be stuck that way. And in their missions to break people down and have them submit to them, they have fallibilities left and right. They trip over their own feet when they're trying to make us dance. So I don't know if you've noticed here, I have opened up memberships for the channel. I will be making members-only content. So the only way you'll be able to access new videos for new projects, so like all the current projects are going to remain free. But for new videos on different topics that I'm looking into, those are going to be for my monthly paid subscribers. But you'll still get a ton of content like I'm putting out here today. All the deep dives that are currently ongoing, those will remain free. But as far as like film character breakdowns, analyzations, I'm going to take my time with those, and I'm going to present those to my paying members. And I really want to say I want to keep it that way and not make them public for free to everyone at a later date. But there's going to be a mix of those where we'll have member-only videos that'll eventually go to the public after a period of time. But there will be some videos that will remain behind the paywall. And again, that's to incentivize all of you out there to support what I'm doing here. So that's all out there. I also have super chats, which all of you can choose to donate whatever you'd like at any time. YouTube takes a small percentage of it, but I will get a payout of it eventually. And I will reinvest that into this channel. Whether it's new books, new equipment. But as of right now, I have all the equipment I need to do this for all of you. I guess now it's more necessarily about making time to continue doing all of this for you. And where I feel the most comfortable is having a small deviation, a small split off where I will have paying members that will get exclusive content. But you'll still get everything else here for free, those that are not paying members. So don't feel left out from any of that. A lot of the stuff for the paying members will most likely be topics and content that not a lot of people will agree with, or it'll make them uncomfortable. And mostly it'll be to make sure that it doesn't get falsely reported, to be taken down. Thankfully, none of that has happened thus far with this channel. With all of the free videos that are 100% free, right? Everything that's on this channel is up, and it's 100% free. I haven't posted the first members only video yet, but I am getting there. So don't worry about that one, and it'll continue to expand as the weeks go by. I have a monthly goal for myself to produce content for everyone. Both what I'm doing now with all the free live streams, and then also with the members only content, which will most likely be the heavily edited, well put together, hearing me speak, seeing other images on the screen, that sort of deal. Music involved, like the white bad audio here. So that's all coming together smoothly. But it is a lot of work running this channel. I used to only put 1 or 2 videos up a month, and now here I'm doing like 5 a week. Plus I'm on Brenda's show, I'm on Abe's show. Could say I'm almost at like 10 shows a week at this point. But I'm not complaining. I enjoy creating content. And I know that there's a lot of people that don't have that gift and ability to do so, which is helping me continue this process along. You know, it's like, you know, somebody who's very talented on a musical instrument, and it's like, man, I wish I could play it like that. Well, in this arena, I am that person that people say, I wish I can do that. And it's not me gloating. It's just me accepting that I do have talent, and I will use it for good. And while that may be a relative term to many people of what good is, I'm not trying to give a dichotomy here. But I know that what I am good at, I will use to better humanity. And part of this is calling out the narcissists, because that's a taboo topic these days. But you're getting it all for free here. So far, with the Coral Castle Deep Dive series, we're discovering UFO flaps are along these energy grids. I also played around with a ley line map. There's a website for it. And I saw that the Bermuda Triangle has a lot of these ley lines intersecting. And one of the ley lines runs right underneath Homestead, where Coral Castle resides. In fact, Florida City was closer than Homestead, and Edley Skolnish built his Coral Castle initially at Florida City, but then moved it to Homestead, including the Polaris Stone. This guy had this multi-ton sculpted pillar that was trucked over to his new location, and he set it back up on his own without anybody seeing how he did it. And that's what the Deep Dive series is about, trying to see how he did all of that. Jason, I do believe... Okay, so Jason's asking me, how do you think they found ley lines before we had the megaliths? Easy. They took a Y-shaped stick and they used it in a process called water witching. They went and found natural water springs by using a stick in the shape of a Y. They held it upside down or right side up, whichever you want to say. They hold the stick out in front of them and they wait for it to move as they're walking around. I believe the ley lines for the megaliths were found this way. And that's how they ended up building it. Prior to that, there's the possibility that these ley lines were put into the earth by other people such as ourselves, or it was the Nephilim. But I really think that's a little murky waters right now. I'm not confident with saying that, but that's an idea that's been floated out there. Dowsing, yes, Jason. Dowsing. What did I call it? Water witching. It's the same thing. That's what I meant, was the dowsing. That's how I believe Edley Skolnish found his locations that he did in Florida. But he was right the first time. He should have stayed in Florida City. But I think he moved to Homestead to get closer to what I believe is like Route 1, or something like that. It runs right next to the Everglades. He wanted to be on a heavily traveled road so that he could have the maximum amount of people passing through to visit his castle, where he could show it off and get oohed and awed And he never told anybody how he did this stuff. When he passed away, his technology was stolen from the castle. Nobody knows where it went. Pieces remain. Hi, John Lopez. Welcome to the stream. So while I cover Coral Castle on Tuesdays, on Thursdays I cover the Bermuda Triangle. And the Bermuda Triangle is where we're finding all these UFO flaps that are occurring along these ley lines. Why are the UFOs attracted or centered around the ley lines? Could be part of their vehicle propulsion. I don't know. But it's foolish to deny that these things exist. It's already being seen in the skies more often than ever. But I do believe it is all local. These are interdimensional beings we are dealing with, not from outer space. They reside among us. But they can't touch what Heavenly Father Creator has blessed upon this earth, which is us. We are off limits to them. Unless we create spiritual openings to let them attach on to us and cause us harm. So, with the Bermuda Triangle series, we see that there's cities underwater, all near the Bermuda Triangle, by Florida, the Florida Keys, even going up to Bermuda Island itself. Like, there's roads on the bottom of the ocean. This is all verifiable fact. And I was saying on those shows that I'm coming to a consensus here that there was a time when water was possibly released from below and not above. So some of the flooding that has occurred, the many floodings, possibly, one of them came from the ground. The ground opened up, and the water flowed out like a geyser. And that's why there's cities underwater now, which what we call is the seabed. Hey, Juan Avila. Hey, Joel, and welcome back. Very cool. Yeah, we're talking about my deep dives. So yeah, disappearing ships, disappearing planes. There's also a naturally occurring chemical reaction. You go through about 7 different reactions and you have methane in the oceans, along with mercury. And mercury, when shaken, if you have it in a vial, picks up radio signals. And we've heard of these stories of these people on boats. They're around these crashing waves. Now let's add this other factor into the equation. There's mercury in the ocean, and it's being shaken around. It's receptive to radio signals. So that explains to me, partially, why some people have heard voices in the middle of nowhere in the ocean when they're sailing out there. But they've also had direct conversations and sayings said to them. Like, jump in, come join us. Who or what are saying these things to them? Is it from far away? Is it picking up a radio station on the East Coast and they're just hearing whispers and stuff? Or is it communicating something else that's living in the ocean? Or something else that's driving a submersible under the ocean and trying to mess with us? Get us to jump to our deaths. Oh no, not rain in Florida. Thanks for sharing the weather, you guys. Yeah, it's 77 degrees here in Niles, Illinois. It is partially cloudy. Nothing too concerning, thankfully. Yeah, Jason. Jason says, I think it's where the mermaid siren lore might come from. Yes. That's what I'm coming to a consensus with on that. During these high tides, I'm sure some of you have seen these videos of these shippers. They have like the containers and everything on them, but they're in these waters that are so violent with the waves that the ship's going almost vertical to get over the waves. When you have that much activity happening with the water, and then you add in the fact that mercury transmits radio signals when shaken around, it opens up these questions as to what these people on the boats are hearing. And then also these pilots that are, I mean, they're getting blocked from their flight path by some of these UFOs. They ask for permission to fly into higher airspace, and they disappear without a trace. They vanish off the radar. No black box found. There's also been planes and boats that have been found where nobody's on them, where the cockpit to the plane is locked and the keys are out of the ignition, nowhere to be found, and there's nobody inside the plane anymore. So it's not that these vessels are going missing, the people are going missing. And where are they going to? It's very fascinating to me. And the more I look into it, the more questions I have. But I do get, it's like the answers that I get as we go along with these deep dives, it fascinates me, and then it piques my curiosity more because it just opens up the door to more of these questions. Well, then what about this? And what about this? The very thing that Tom Althouse didn't like me doing. Questioning things. I don't just accept the mainstream narrative at face value of what the Bermuda Triangle is. It's not an off-chance thing. This is a verified phenomenon. There is something special about the land in terms of energy and vortices. And there's all sorts of other weird stuff going on. Gravity hills, which are in the US. You could put your car in neutral on a hill, on an incline, and your car will go up that incline and on neutral. Then there's these things called gravity wells, which I have yet to look into. But it sounds like it's the opposite of that. You'll get pulled into it. So stay away from the gravity wells. And then as for miniature black holes, I mean, we've been told that these black holes, if you were to create them at CERN or something, it would eat up the entire Earth and destroy the galaxy and all that. So I don't know why Dr. Richard Allen Miller is saying the Bermuda Triangle is a bunch of miniature black holes. It just sounds convenient to give that answer, but maybe that is the answer. Who knows? I don't know. At least I can admit that I don't know, but I'm looking into all of this stuff. And Edleed Skolnick of Coral Castle claimed that he knew the secrets of the pyramids, of Stonehenge, of Easter Island, and other researchers agree that Coral Castle is in that realm of talk. The pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, Easter Island, and Coral Castle, the megaliths of the world. Now, some of these megaliths really aren't built around these ley lines as prominently as how, like, Ed did it. Even the Nazca lines, they don't have ley lines next to them that close. But Easter Island, it has one of those giant central points nearby, just like the Bermuda Triangle has. Let me catch up on the comments here. I'll have to look into the Iowa State Fair for 2026. I don't know too much about what's going on with that. You know, I'll make a note here to look into it. See, I follow up on all this stuff. I just need the time to do it. Thank you, Woo. Yeah, I'll look into that one. Yeah, it might be fun to do that with multiple people, but I mean, I'd be fine talking about it on here. And then Wu says, will it be all agricultural focused, or do you believe they will bring out new technology and ideas for new technology? It's probably going to be a bit of both. But is it supposed to be like a World's Fair? Because if that's the case, I'm going to jump on that stuff very soon. Yeah, and Joel Burgess says lots of strange activity with UFO, dogmen, black cats, witchcraft stuff, and more RAF jets crashing into the North Sea. Yeah. There's a lot of strange things going on with that. I haven't talked about dogman, black cats, or witchcraft yet here. Or Bigfoot. But we'll get around to it. It's all connected, though. Yeah, Jason, I remember you bringing up Iowa. And when I looked it up, I didn't get anything, surprisingly. Maybe there's not enough information out there yet. But yeah, there's a possibility that the ley lines are man-made. Or if it's not man-made, then it was made by some other ancient civilization that came before us. I mean, just think of it like people laying down electrical cables for their houses. Like, they dig up the front yard, or even in the public streets, they're digging the holes to get to the wiring and everything. Just imagine the ley lines like wires that are all just, they're all synchronized and symmetric. They're in a pattern, and they're all... See, in this book that I'm reading, The Energy Grid, they have everything based off of a globular model. But I'm starting to wonder if we're dealing with something like this, and then this. Not something that's like connected like this, but something more like this. And that's something you probably won't hear on many other channels. But they did find, I think it was in the Bermuda Triangle book. It was either that or the Energy Grid, because it's starting to all like blend together for me, all this information. But the atomic bombs, I think it was in the Energy Grid book. The atomic bombs, like when Hiroshima went off, the opposite side of the world, down in, I think, like southern Australia, had a magnetic reaction. So it was almost like if someone just like shot a bullet through the earth, if that makes sense, but with like a magnetic bullet. And if that's the case and it's on an opposite side, I'd almost have to say it's like this. And I would say Australia's down here, and then whatever, North America, South America's over here. Australia. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain it fully right now. But each side would have its own little dome on it. I'm probably wrong, but I'm throwing that idea out there. Because with the opposite sides being reactive, I really think there's something to that. And again, the Energy Grid book is based off of the globulature models. So they use mathematics and everything checks out. How you get mathematics to work on a theoretical model, that's tough to do. So there must be some validity there somewhere. But when people talk about flat Earth, there's always a circular dome. So we could even say the equal and opposite reactions are happening like this. And it doesn't matter where it happens. If you do it over here, it'll equally go over here. I'm still looking into it. But that's where we're at on that. And still no answers to the disappearing people. And you know, a good channel I used to watch a lot, and he made a lot of physical books on this subject. David Paulides and The Missing 411. Now, this guy's a retired police officer, and he went into looking into the person disappearances in national parks. And a lot of these accounts are of people, even children, toddlers, having been found miles away over heavy mountainous terrain, nothing that they could have walked over to get to themselves, and especially not in the time that they were missing could they have reached those positions, but yet they're found that way. There's also clothes that are neatly folded, but the person's never found. So what's going on with that? And the reason I bring that up is because Bermuda Triangle has a bunch of people that have gone missing off of boats and planes. The entire vessels have disappeared. And sometimes the vessels reappear and there's nobody on them. So what's happening to the people? Are they being sent further or behind in the timeline somewhere? I am under the impression that all of time is happening all at once. All there is now. But if these people are disappearing from our now, then where are they now? Are they here or there? Yeah, Texas, I think there's something to the North and South Poles. I'm not sure about the ice wall thing, but looking at everything by the book, the magnetics line up with there being dipoles. I'm trying to think of an easier way to explain this. I guess you could say, like with a magnetic, you have the positive and negative attraction on it. Those poles could be a dot in the center and a circle around it as the opposite pole. And that's going really off from where I'm studying right now. Because the books are all saying, no, it's two different points, top and bottom. But what if it's all together? It would have to be on a flat surface, but it's enclosed. So there is a spherical element to it. I'm just not there yet. I'm not comfortable getting behind that concept just yet. But I'm looking into the magnetics of everything and the way energy is dispersed through all of this and how it's all coming together. Again, with the Coral Castle stuff, I do believe there's an element of sound attached to it. Adelaide Skolnick was said to have been caught singing to the stones that he has erected up in his castle. And sound can also be used. You're taking frequencies. These certain frequencies can liquefy stone. So if you built an entire city on very dry dirt that hasn't had any moisture in it for decades, centuries, and you want to wipe out the city, you just use your sound weapon to soften the soil, have all the buildings sink into the foundation, and then get these buildings that are buried 6 to 10 feet underground, along with all the people in it too. And Brenda, that's where all of these orphans come into play. Monica, you bring up a good point. So Monica says maybe they're still here in the now, but behind a veil. Like Eden is still here, but behind a veil guarded by angels. That would be interdimensional, yeah. Yeah, EMFs, Joel. In fact, in the first Matrix film, they have what's called an EMP, and it's just a little dial in their hover ships. And they can only use it once because it wipes out all electronics when they do it, including the squiddies and all that. You see, I'm okay with exploring the concepts of these fictional films because, as I said before, there's truth in everything. But if anyone used sound as a weapon, there would be electricity as a byproduct of it. Think of volcanoes. When volcanoes go off, there's a lot of sound that comes from that. And what do you see above these volcanoes that are erupting sometimes? Lightning. So that's just something else to think about. But what Monica brought up, that's really interesting. So these people that are going missing in the Bermuda Triangle, they could just be going to a different dimension. I'm not sure if they're going to a different timeline. I haven't looked into all of that yet as thoroughly as I have been everything else. There's the Philadelphia experiment where a ship disappears. And then there's people like Al Bielek who claim that they were on that ship and that it went to the future multiple times. It skipped like a stone. Boom, 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 into the future. And that he was left in the future for quite a long time. And that he came back and he's in a different body now. I don't know. It just got so convoluted I didn't look any more into it since then. I will revisit the Philadelphia experiment though, because that's a known government experiment. And the movie actually was fascinating. I'm surprised it was even made because it had the result when the ship returned to its point of origin. Again, like I said, with the liquefaction of the ground with sound weapons, it was as if the ship dematerialized and the people, the sailors on board, sank into the ship. So some of these personnel were stuck into the walls. And yes, some of them died because of that too. But for the people that go missing, that's a very good point, Monica. They could just be on the other side of the veil, so to speak. Yeah, Joseph Smith, that's a good comparison. Joseph Smith says, I like the moment in the movie Run Lola Run where Lola is in the casino and screams. And the scream, the sound and the vibrations make the ball drop on her winning spot. I believe we've been fooled into thinking that our speech means nothing. And I'm here to tell all of you that it means something. Because every word that we speak is a vibration of sound into the universe. And that's why we should speak what we want into the universe. Not speak about what we don't want. We should speak about what we want. And Joseph Smith says someone should, quote, try to go missing while wearing a tracking device. I think it's, I mean, with the Bermuda Triangle stuff, a lot of these ships and planes have had tracking devices on them and they've gone missing. Like the black box is nowhere to be found. The entire vessel's not able to be found. And then, on the other hand, when they do show back up, no personnel are there. If we could have some technology that won't fail, like if there's a fail-safe way to have a tracker, yes, I'd love to see that happen. But I don't know if we'd get the results we're expecting. Like, my first reaction is we'll probably have a drop-off of the track. Like, it'll just drop off. These planes that have gone missing over the Bermuda Triangle, they've been on radar, and they go and disappear. They should never disappear like the way that they do. And it's not a cloaking effect that happens with them either. So at this point, I think any terms of trying to track where these things are going, it's nearly impossible. Because where they're going, we can't see here. Even though it's still here, we can't see it. Just like range of visibility. So like on a foggy day, you could only see a mile away. As a hypothetical here, you have this plane or boat that goes into the Bermuda Triangle. Those trackers are just going to stop transmitting. And I think that's the wall that will always hit unless there's some other fail-safe way to make those trackers continue to be active. And where are we going to follow and locate them? Yeah, Monica, I wouldn't volunteer for that either. I don't want to be a lab rat for that type of stuff. Although I do think that we're constantly going through processes of that on our own, individually, every day. Like, where do we go when we sleep? Some of us go somewhere. Some of us stay. But I know a lot of people astral project. They go lucid. Their spirits leave their body. Some people get visited in their sleep. They get watched. People things standing over them, looking at them. Sleep paralysis when they wake up. They can't move their bodies. They can't speak. They all want something from us. We have a spark that they can't generate on their own. They want our souls, these other entities. They want to know how our souls work. They want to try. They can't wrap their head around the fact that we can create. They can be 1,000 IQ and still can't figure out how we can put things together on our own on a whim. Yeah. So again, Joseph, I was saying earlier about the atomic bombs, like on Hiroshima. There was an opposite reaction magnetically over by Australia. And on a globulature model that is directly across, if you were to do a cross section straight through it, it appears on the other side. Perfect. I got a little ball here. If it hits right here, it will come right out over here. It'll go straight through it. A straight line. So if the atomic bomb hits here, the magnetics will shoot out the other side. And here we're questioning why. Why does that happen? We're still trying to figure that out. And I'm trying to take this information in, knowing what I know now with everything. This book was from the two books so far, that one we finished and another one we're just getting into. The first one was from 1974. This new one is from 2004. So there's 30 years that have passed between the two books. And more astonishing information is in this new book. That this thing hasn't stopped. It's a continual occurrence that is happening that is unexplainable. And we're trying to find some answers to those. And I think we will find answers. Oh, Monica. So, Mel's Hole, I'm so glad you brought that up. So, I found out about Mel's Hole on Art Bell on the Coast to Coast AM show. I listened to that whole series. So, those of you that don't know about Mel's Hole, it's basically this guy found like this never-ending well on some property, and he was putting things down in it to see if he could bring something back up, and like he had a creature that came out of it, like a humongulus or something. I don't know what you call it. But it looked like a deformed creature that he pulled out of it with the bucket or something. Yeah, I've heard people say that it's not true. And I'm not willing to easily dismiss stuff like that unless there's hard evidence that it was a hoax. But it was so fascinating. There was like, I want to say like 10 hours of content to listen to that. It's making me want to go back and listen to some of it, to be honest. Yeah, there's something going on with portals too. And when I've been on Abe's channel over at Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, we've been talking about portals and rips in the fabric of space-time just opening up. Something similar to that was shown in the new Doctor Who, not the one after like Matt Smith. I think it started with the Matt Smith Doctor Who. And again, I'm saying this because there's truth in everything, even if a lot of it's not true. They put these truths into this fiction for us to consume so they can tell us what the truth is without directly telling us. And in Doctor Who, they had this rip. I forget what it... I think they called it the Rift. The Rift. But it looked like a little tear or rip. And it started off, it was on a wall. And then eventually it was up in the sky. And then eventually it brought the past doctors and future doctors all together to like fight off this evil entity or something like that. It's been a little long for that. Yeah, I agree with Texas. Don't try to go through any portals. And Monica, yes, hiding Easter eggs in movies. You know, the deja vu thing in The Matrix, it seems to be like it's a real thing. Like, we have these moments where we do think it's deja vu, and then there's also the idea of it's something like the Mandela effect, where something's been changed. It's something to really think about. In the movie, they turned all the windows into brick walls so that the characters couldn't escape. Yeah, it's so fascinating to me. I wouldn't be spending time on it if I thought it was boring. I like to follow my passions, and this is where it's led me. Monica says I used to have deja vu all the time. Not anymore, though. Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've had a personal deja vu. I'm not sure what that means. I'm trying to get more in tune with my body here. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm trying to eat as healthily as I can. I don't go out to eat anymore. I don't trust anywhere. It's too expensive, too, now. Yes, Joseph Smith. Dark City. He says the movie Dark City 2. Retuning to after their realities. Or to alter their realities. Thank you, Joel. Yeah, see, I don't have to explain myself here, but I think it's the proper thing to do to just give everyone a disclaimer. I'm not here to pull anyone's leg. I'm here to find out answers. And even if we get very few, at least we know that the time we put into discovering these things isn't in vain. Everything that we do has a purpose. Like Smith says, the thing that Smith wants is purpose. Purpose. What is your purpose? We all have purpose here. Some people, it takes a while for them to realize what their purpose is. I've been one of those people, and I continue to be, because I don't know everything. And I'm okay with admitting that. Yeah, Art Bell is a really big influence on where I'm at today. Just like I know that Art Bell, eventually after he left Coast to Coast, I think John B. Wells was the one that took over for him. And now George Norrie is the current operator. And Art Bell and John B. Wells both did their own shows after Coast to Coast, and they, Art Bell was running his up until the day that he mysteriously died, which was sometime in 2018, I believe. I can't believe it's been that long now. Holy crap. Yeah, it was 2018. he was living alone, or like pretty isolated. He was still running shows out of his house. But something happened. And then John B. Wells, he's continuing his Caravan to Midnight show to this day. And I was able to find his direct phone number, which is how I got Tom Althouse reconnected with him, because he did appear on John B. Wells' show in the past. But his Caravan to Midnight archive got hacked, and some of his interviews were lost, and Tom Althouse's was one of the interviews that got lost, surprisingly. So I thought there was something to that, so I dug around. I found John B. Wells' phone number. I provided it to Tom. Tom called it in March of last year, and John answered it on the first ring, Tom said. And he was on the show the next week. And then the following month in April, when I was visiting Tom at his house to do the documentary, which never happened, he changed it when I got there with all my film equipment. He went on John B. Wells' show for a second time. And John was equally fascinated with his story, as was I. I think it was a very good step forward, all things considered. But John offered to help Tom out in any way he could. He offered to promote a GoFundMe or something for the book project that he sprang upon me the moment I showed up to the house. So no documentary anymore, Steven. We need to have books made. Okay, dude. And he drops that idea too. And then he never contacted John B. Wells again. But he's all the way up Roseanne's ass, so go figure, right? Whoever he thinks is more popular, he'll just do that. He'll drop everyone else. Tom Althouse. Yes, Joel. So Joel says, we all have a job to do in our lives. It's just we have to work it out and together. And I agree with that. We have to put our differences aside. The other night, I actually was challenged to have a conversation with someone I didn't fully agree with. And you know what? It was really tough at first. I wanted to react negatively, but I didn't. And it turned out that we found common ground in the end. So there's a way to work together with things, especially us people, not these other entities pretending to be people. I think us kindred spirits, kindred souls, we're meant to work together. And there's going to be outside forces that are going to try to influence us to fight. And we need to be beyond that. Yes, Texas. He says, and sometimes figuring that out can be a challenge. Yeah, it definitely is. Especially if you don't know exactly what you're dealing with, if you can't be self-reflective of these things. It's a maturation process. Being able to tolerate ideas that are different from your own. I know narcissists can't do that. They'll just dismiss you and literally think of you as trash. Yeah, and you know, some of this stuff, it's like you might meet people that don't take you seriously, but that's okay. That's fine. Let them believe what they want to believe. They're on their own journey, and I think this is where I also came to a consensus with this other person, was that everyone's on a different stage, different step of their journey. And there was a quote that I used to have up around here. It was shoved in my books here somewhere. But it said, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 8. And that's just in terms of where they're at in life and where their progress is on what they're here to do and what they're accomplishing. While you may be on chapter 1, someone else is on their chapter 8. Don't be jealous of them being so further ahead than you, especially if they had more time than you to get there. They had a head start already. It's no thing to be personally offended by. And Juan Avila says, when we work together, we have better outcomes. Absolutely. Texas says, it took me nearly 3 decades to figure out my purpose. People will always have their opinions. Yep. Hey, I admit that I'm still finding out my purpose. I don't know everything here yet. I'm not 100% on anything. But as you mature and get older, you do tend to see the patterns in things, and then you realize what you're meant to do here. And I've always been gravitated toward being a leader. I'm a natural born leader. And part of that is assembling teams and having them work efficiently. That's why I dived into being a film director the whole early part of my life, up until this day. And sometimes the path you walk is lonely. It's in terms of you are alone on your path of progress, and that's okay. Lonely does not have to be a lack of something. In fact, it shows solidarity in yourself. And that's not a narcissistic thing at all either. Narcissists need the input of others for them to have confidence with their decisions and all that. When you can get to a place where you can make your own decisions and not care what others think about them, knowing that what you're doing is serving a higher purpose, those people that are judging you, they're on their chapter 1 and you're on your chapter 8. But if you see other people where you're on chapter 1 and the other person's on chapter 8, again, don't be jealous of how far along they are on their journey, especially if they were here before you. They had a whole head start on it. Yeah, but Texas says alone doesn't have to be lonely, in my opinion. I agree with that. I know I started that off by saying it's lonely, but it doesn't mean that in the context of the word. I was using the term lonely meaning alone and not in a bad way. Because most times, especially in today's culture, lonely is chalked up to be lacking something. But being alone doesn't have to mean that. And really, look, all of you are here. I'm not alone. I got all of you here with me. And you'll know about vital things such as what I shared with today on this show. I'll be on here getting the information out. And a lot of what I do here on the channel is for others to be inspired, to give that spark to continue the research and finding answers to life. Yeah, Monica. Yeah, Monica says, I find the sighs and the eye rolls are less and less as more people's eyes are opening. Yeah. People don't scoff anymore at the UFO stuff, thankfully. But I noticed they're still kind of shaky on the Anunnaki stuff. You know, the false gods. But again, all of that's based off of them not having the energy that we possess, which is our souls. Our souls are energy. And they want to crack the code of that. And I don't think they ever will. Like, they're out here for nefarious reasons. They would rather leech off of our energy instead of trying to help us reach our full potential. Like, we're being reduced to something we are not supposed to be. And now we're having this reawakening of the soul. We're having our phoenix moment here in this current time. Wow. And we still got a lot of you here. How are you guys holding out? So we had a 2-hour pre-roll. That was to catch all of the bullshit artists. Now we've been live talking here for 2 hours and 37 minutes. How are you all feeling so far? I'm glad Brenda asked me to stay on here because I had exhausted the initial topic I came on here to discuss. You're all doing good. Awesome. Giving me thumbs up. Yeah. Man. Just good to have you all here. It's going to get a lot more interesting going forward with the deep dives. There's let's see what for the Coral Castle series. After the Energy Grid book, we have the David Childress edited book called Anti-Gravity and the World Grid. So that was recommended reading from the Coral Castle books. And so we're on book 1 of 2 of the recommended reading. And man, we're getting into a lot of this magnetism. I'm saying it right. Magnetism. I'm burning out. I could probably go for another 20 minutes and then I'll call it here. But, yeah, I want to be concise with everything that I'm doing here. I don't want to over explain things or go over it constantly. But it's enough here so that it'll leave you thinking after the show's over. But yeah, so again, back to the beginning of today's show. There's people trying to fearmonger, literally trying to ask me to sell out. And I told them no. And they'll continue to play their manipulation games, I'm sure. But I won't read any more of the emails. It's all going to spam. So those efforts are in vain at this point from them. You know, oh no, it's all green. I was gonna say I'll show some of the book diagrams. I'll show them on the deep dives this week, because Tuesday, 2 days from now, the Coral Castle one. There's gonna be a lot more. We're getting into more energy fields in that book, and we'll have even more disappearances and odd occurrences from the Bermuda Triangle book. We're wrapping up the Chicago film industry book. That's kind of like that's a bookended series. That was never meant to go on for that long, because the Chicago film industry ended by the 1920s, and we're nearly there. We're at the point in the series where most of the studios had moved out to the West Coast, and the initial reason why I thought they moved, I guess it wasn't the main reason after all. But Edison he got carried away with all of his patents, and he basically strangleholded everybody trying to make films. He thought everything was going to stay a short form, 20 seconds to 80-second films. And then when they started making these hour-and-a-half features, that's what pretty much killed it for him. People made different projectors, because he tried to patent all the projectors in all the movie theaters, and he wanted only movies that were distributed by him to be projected on his projectors. So he tried to just push everyone into a corner. And thankfully, some of these other filmmakers found a way around that. They made larger film, like the 70 millimeter. They made different types of projectors, but a lot of these films ended up being lost due to replays. Just eventually, the projectors destroyed the films, and that's why most of them are lost. And they didn't really keep master archives of anything, surprisingly. And the stuff that they did keep, some of it's lost to history forever. We're never going to see some of these original prints. But there's always some popping up here and there. They find it in a basement. They find it over in like someone's attic. They find all this stuff. They go and do restorations. So it's an ongoing thing. Like the film Metropolis. About 10 years ago, it had a complete restoration with new scenes added. They made it in 4K and all that. And that was a film that used miniatures, and that was, I think, in the early 1920s. So that was after the Chicago film industry had officially ended. But yeah, that series on Saturdays, that's going to end soon. I will replace it with something else to continue doing those free shows over there. And then I do have one book, and I plan on getting multiple books on the Great Lakes Triangle. So just like the Bermuda Triangle, there's strange disappearances, especially up in Lake Superior. But among all the Great Lakes, there's something going on with ships going missing and odd occurrences happening. But Lake Superior has a pretty heavy cross-section of ley lines. Near the top center of Lake Superior, there's quite an interesting graph. So I'll be starting a series on the Great Lakes Triangle, and I'll say right now that the members of this channel, the paying members, will get it first. So eventually it'll be available to everyone. But I want to have that exclusivity for that one. And it's also just to help pace me so I don't overwork myself with all this, because I could easily double up, do 14 shows a week, 2 a day. But I think that would just completely exhaust me, and I'd rather have a clear mind when I go in and cover these topics so that I can articulate them well for all of you. Awesome, Joel. Well, hopefully I'll still be on by the time you get back. I'm probably going to cut it in about 15. So just kind of winding down here. But yeah, getting back to Coral Castle real quick. The perpetual energy device that he has schematics for and everything, in some of the literature that he put out to the public. When he passed away, his castle was raided. Like, somebody went in there and took some of the tech. Left some of it behind, but I guess they took essential pieces of it. And who knows what it was. He said he knew the secrets of the pyramids. And Easter Island. And Stonehenge. An interesting fact about Stonehenge is, I think it was in the 1970s, they moved all the stones around. And I didn't know that until fairly recently, like a couple of years ago. They moved the Stonehenge stones around. So it might not even be in the same location. It probably is. But why would you even touch those things? Maybe to see what was underneath them. But something else I never have talked about yet on this channel are crop circles. Which really, from some of the stuff I've watched on other people's channels, it seems that crop circles are, well, like what we're seeing is a cross section of a three-dimensional energy. So, you know, like a twisting sphere, we're seeing the cross section of that on the field, where these crops are not bent and broken, the stalks are not like damaged, they're flattened. Like there's no breakage in it. And a lot of the stalks, they're all like interwoven with each other. So what makes that happen? I'm still trying to figure it out. There's some theories that it's the ships and the propulsion systems that are on them, and that's what causes that to happen. But it's really just a subject that I haven't done a deep dive yet on. Maybe that'll be a new one in the future. Because I do have a lot of content on that we could review here. But I guess generally speaking, to wrap things up a little bit, we are in the middle of a shift with the Kali Yuga, which is a long period of time, thousands and thousands of years. We are moving into a different energetic field, and this has been recorded by the passage of time through the sky. And eventually, things will be looking much more positive for the world, but in the meantime, we're going through these growing pains. And it's just something we all have to deal with. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here now because I've used up all my gas here. I thank you all for being here today. So I will let you all go. You all know the information that I shared here today is true and factual from my recollection and knowledge. And these are all my opinions. And I've shared my opinions on those that have been trying to sway my decisions on things, trying to put fear into others. I do not consent, and I tie, bind, in the name of Jesus Christ. I rebuke all these demonic forces. So I'm going to get going. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you, Juan. And thank you, everyone else here that was in the chat. Like, you guys are awesome. Guys and gals, you all know how to come together and really help support creators here. So, until the next one, class dismissed.